incredibly honest, incredibly authentic. She's a red like me. She is very hardworking. And I just love her story so much because this wasn't handed to her on a silver platter. You know, she started out as a single mom coming out of beauty school, really just trying to make ends meet. So can you share a little bit of your 30-second story? Because it moved me so much.
Sure. Well, getting involved in network marketing, my background prior to this amazing profession was I was a makeup artist and a stylist. I finally decided to take a look for real because I was just fed up. I was exhausted. I was burned out of my career. And I desperately, desperately wanted to be home with my family. I had heard about network marketing. My husband actually was pretty much the reason I got involved because I got to see the other side of network marketing, the successful side. And so I jumped in. My story with Isagenix is a little bit different than the original story of getting involved in network marketing. I'll just give you the shortest version of that ever. We came here 6.5 years ago off on the tail end of owning our own network marketing company, and we came here with nothing. We had no income coming in, kind of broken down and beat up, and started at the bottom like everybody else. We were on an inside of an inside leg, and we built 2 legs, and it has been the most incredibly blessed, remarkable journey ever.
How has your life changed as a result of this, Michelle?
Well, network marketing, first of all, before Isagenix, provided for me a hope that no other profession could have provided me. And the key word for what created the hope was leverage. As a stylist and a makeup artist, I only got paid when I worked. Kind of like every other job, right? You only get paid when you show up. I only got paid when I worked. And I had actually topped out in my profession. I had a very large clientele. I made great money. I worked, 50 to 60 hours a week. I had an assistant. I did 10, 11 clients a day. There were no more hours in the day that I could actually work to create income. And so what excited me the most about network marketing was the idea of leverage. The fact that I could work really hard, build a team, train people, and that once I got them trained and ready to go, I would continue to earn off of the efforts of the group, not just me, myself. And so my life has changed dramatically just with the knowledge of that. Coming into Isagenix, Isagenix has answered or been the culmination of all the things that I believed were possible in the profession of network marketing. It's been a total of 15 years for me. And Isagenix, for those of you that this is your first company, I say it on every call and everything I ever get to speak at, you are very, very, very lucky. There is no other company like Isagenix. And there never will be another company like Isagenix because you will never, ever be able to replicate Jim and Kathy Coover. There are other good companies, there are other good products. There is nothing like this company. They have never failed us. They have never missed a check. And as we speak, my husband is not here. He is actually right this second, he's at Jim and Kathy Coover's home with a couple of network marketers that are old friends of Jim and Kathy's that are taking a serious look at Isagenix. And these people have been on what Bobby likes to call the network marketing treadmill. They jump into a company, they go hard for a few years, the company lets them down, and they jump again. And Bobby, the gentleman that Bobby knows that's at Jim and Kathy's with him right now, Bobby's known for 20 years. They networked together with Kathy Coover in a company 20 years ago. In that 20 years, this gentleman has been with a minimum of 10, if not 15 companies. And so they want to come to Isagenix because they want to plant roots in a home that will be here for the remainder of their profession. And so for those of you that are kind of new to the profession, maybe this is your first company or second company, that might not seem like a big deal to you. But in the world of network marketing, it is a wildly, wildly attractive idea that nobody's been able to find outside of Isagenix.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So I brought you on tonight to specifically talk about handling objections, because even someone as strong as you, as tough as you, as knowledgeable as you, has faced some hardships, some hurt in this company, right? Well, not with our company, but as you're building. And I want everyone to know that the build is not supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to be snotty and ugly and dirty, and you are going to get your feelings hurt. And how do you teach new people, Michelle, to build this tough skin that keeps them in the game? Because I think of all the shit that I've gone through in my 6 years, and good Lord, it wasn't pretty. I had a lot of learning and growing to do, but I will tell you this. Thank God I didn't throw in the towel. I looked around this weekend and saw all my friends. They're all from Isogenics. The swimming pool I'm swimming in, my girls are playing in because of Isogenics. And every little struggle and thing that you had to go through, it was so worth it. And it's still worth it. And I just think that if not this, then what? And somebody put up a great post and it said, I'd rather be in here now, hustling, struggling to get to my goals, because it would pain me to think about what life was like if I quit. I don't remember if Vicky posted it or Tara, but someone on our team posted it. And it really, really moved me. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I want to talk about the standard that people have in the network marketing profession versus every other profession on the planet. I'll just take my own personal experience, okay? Here in California, to get a cosmetology license, you have to complete 1,800 hours. 1,800 hours I have to clock in for training at school before I can be graduated from school and then apply to take the state test. So if somebody were to go nonstop, 40 hours a week, no vacation, they could get it done in right around 12 months. So I'm talking about 5 days a week for 52 weeks. It's something like 55 weeks, so it's a little over a year. It took me 2 years because I was a single mom. I had 2 young kids, and I worked 40 hours a week. In addition to the 40 hours a week that I did, I worked at night. In addition to school, I worked at night. And the funny thing is, while I was doing those two things, while I was going to school during the day and working at night, not one person ever asked me how much I was making. Ever. Not one person ever scoffed at me that it was going to take me 2 years to get through school before I could just get my license. And then in the traditional sense of being a hairstylist, most people, after they are licensed, so they went to school, then they had to wait to take the test, then they had to get their license in hand, then they had to get hired as an assistant. And most people assist another stylist for 6 to 12 months. So you're talking about a turnaround of a couple of years before you ever make $1. So most people go into, this is just being a hairdresser, okay? I'm not talking about being a doctor or a lawyer or any other profession. They go into it knowing there's a couple of years that you have to put in work and pay. You have to pay. I had to pay to go to school before I ever had the opportunity to earn $1. But for some reason, people get involved in network marketing. They sign up on Monday, and if by Friday they're not making $5,000 a week, they say it doesn't work. We have a very, very skewed misconception about this profession. And it's up to us, all of you leaders, to change that, to treat it like a profession, to stop telling people that this is something that overnight life changes. Now, we all know your life does change overnight with Isogenics. As soon as you get the products in your body, as soon as you experience the culture, you can make money right away. But we've got to start teaching people from the get-go that this is a legitimate profession. Every other profession requires time and energy and sweat equity before you get paid. But in network marketing, people have some weird misconception about it. So that's number one. I think it starts at the beginning with teaching people that this is a legitimate profession that takes time, energy, effort. You have to be trained. You have to invest in your training. You have to devote yourself to training. You have to be bad before you can get good. I sucked in the beginning. I was terrible. The reason I'm good now, I'm really good. I have literally done thousands upon thousands upon thousands of calls, presentations, one-on-ones, three-way calls, writing out of the comp plan. I have spent thousands and thousands of hours practicing. So I'm good now, right? Didn't happen overnight. Happened because I invested and I was willing to be really crappy before I could get good. So I think kind of at the forefront of managing people's expectations in the profession, number one. Number two, network marketing is not for the faint of heart. If you were to ask an actor, okay, what is the number one thing that they really need to get good at and not take personal? What do you guys think it is? Type it in the chat bar if you guys have any idea, as an actor, what's the number one thing they have to get really, you're right, yes, rejection, criticism, hearing no. And not only do they hear no in that profession, they hear no and they hear why. You're not tall enough, you're too fat, you're too short, you're too ethnic, you're too white, you're blah, blah, blah. That is a hard profession. Yet people move to Hollywood or these other places and they do it for year after year and wait tables or whatever, and they put up with the rejection for the one yes that could change their life. So in network marketing, we have to tell people you're going to hear no way more than you're going to hear yes. We have to teach people that. On our team, when we do these 90-day runs, we make it a part of the environment, a part of the culture, that your goal every week is to get 10 no's. And Tinley just heard this when I was at corporate last week with her. She earned the Elevate to Executive. We teach people to go after, to make it a goal to get 10 actual no's a week. It's harder than you think. But when your goal is to get a no, you have to have a lot of conversations, right? In the meantime, to get the no. And then it literally reframes it. It redefines the no. You're proud of it. We have people typing in the group, oh my gosh, I got 8 no's already. I got 15 no's this week, and we're celebrating it. So that's another thing that we have to teach people that. And then the final thing I would say is when it comes to specifically network marketing, you really have to learn and grow your emotional intelligence. This is a business of people, you guys. I've never yet met one perfect person. I've never yet met somebody who doesn't come with a whole like UPS truck full of baggage. I do too. And so you put all these personalities together and all this past and people's self-doubts and the things that people have that before they came here, and it's just this collision of emotions. So you as a leader need to learn to manage that yourself so that you can lead others. And that really just comes from experience and a lot of personal development and just massive amounts of humility and grace. And so that's kind of what I would say up front, teaching people, about this profession. If you can stick it out through that, then your life will change so dramatically, and you'll be able to change literally like countless other lives.
Yeah. Isn't it an amazing profession where you get paid to grow yourself?
I love it.
Amazing. And I remember Alexis saying 6 years ago, this entire business is about managing your frustrations, managing your emotions, because it's never like this. Nobody ever goes like this. It's like this. It's falling on your face. It's all these things, but you really have to learn how to embrace it. So how did you get comfortable with sucking in the beginning that you were like, oh my God, that was so bad, and yet you got out of bed and you did it again? Was it why? Was it Bobby? What kept you in the game? Because for me, it's for my kids. It's for my team. I will never not show up because I promised them that they're going to elevate with me, So no matter how bad we are, you have an obligation to keep getting better, to keep showing up.
Yeah, there's a number of reasons for me personally. It always started with the why. I've built personally, me and Bobby together, since I've been with him, we have built, not counting the company that we owned, 3 separate network marketing businesses from scratch to a multiple 6-figure income. And each time we started the build at each of those 3 companies, we were in a situation of financial need, big need. That was always the why for me. When I very first got started, the only thing that was going to help me retire from my career as a hairdresser was money. It wasn't, philanthropy. It wasn't giving back. It was creating finances in my pocket so that I could replace the job that was keeping me away from home. And so because that was so powerful, I actually think it was a massive advantage. Those of you that are building this in a place of need and desperation, it is actually your superpower. It's not a negative. It's your superpower because that keeps you going. When I first I didn't care who said no to me. I literally didn't. I was like, no, okay, next. You say yes, awesome, let's do this. Anyway, still next. I was continually moving forward because I didn't have a choice. I knew if other people could build a network marketing business, I could damn well do it. I could damn well do it because even if I didn't know how, I could certainly learn. I could learn how to do it. Everything is just a skill. I'm sorry. Bobby is going to dinner with Jim and Kathy, and he's finally texting me and sending me pictures. Okay. I'm like, you are horrible at updating me. You're keeping me not in the loop at all. Anyway, it's that when you get to the point for yourself that your why is so powerful, neither a yes nor a no will sway you from moving forward. Now, I'm not talking about leaving people in the dust. That's not what I'm saying. I want to gather up and lock arms with as many people as just say yes to me, right? As many people as I can that say, yes, I want to do what you're doing. But I cannot slow down or stop with my goal for them. I will meet people where they're at. I will match energy for energy, but my journey must be at the speed that I need it to go at, not the speed that they need it to go at. And that kind of sounds like an oxymoron. I know. But you understand the only thing you are in control of in your network marketing business is what? Who knows what you're in control of? I'm going to wait and see if you guys type it in the chat. Yes, you can learn this. Yes, yourself. Your own effort. It's the only thing that you can control. You. How many people you talk to. How many presentations you do. How many times you write out the comp plan. How many times you show up at events. This is a volunteer army. We are no one's boss. If people don't show up, we don't scold them. We don't make them feel bad. We don't yell at them. It's their future. Do we encourage them and try to bring them along and remind them of their why? Yes, out of love for them and their journey. But it doesn't slow us down on our journey. Really, network marketing, the best thing that you could do for your team is to continue to go. Angela's been a wildly unbelievable example for you guys. She's earned trips and incentives. She keeps going. She rank advances. She keeps going. She leads you with her own example. And that's the best thing you could do for your team. Your action. You can never say, well, my team, the minute you say that about something that's not happening, you need to look in the mirror and you need to stop yourself and look in the mirror and say, no. What have I done? Bobby always says, ask yourself every day, based on my actions today, would I have wanted to sponsor me? Based on what I did today, would I want to sponsor me? That'll keep you in check, right? It'll keep you in check.
Yeah, for sure. So from the moment that you and I first met and became good friends, I've always felt a sense of urgency from you. You know, in my eyes, in my opinion, that's the only way that this thing really takes off. And I remember us talking about what our houses look like sometimes. Because you weren't doing laundry all day Tuesday. You were making calls. And if the laundry piled up, oh well. And, you had guests coming to your house, when the kids were small and you were like, just don't look in the living room. I haven't cleaned there in 2 months. Just come on in. So talk to me a little bit about urgency. Talk to me about industry numbers. What does it take to make it, to be successful, to hit that 6 figures?
Yeah. Well, first of all, in order to really run, you have to push some things in your life to the side. Some people just aren't willing to do that. For us, it was a lot of things. We told the kids when we first got started, and I was still working, at the salon. Bobby owned a mortgage company. We were all gone every day, 5 different directions, 3 different places my kids went. Bobby went somewhere and I went somewhere. We were busy. Kids were in sports and everything. We said, listen, we sat everybody down and we said, listen, things are going to change and they're going to get even crazier and harder for a time. Here's what I need from you guys. I had a teenager, a middle schooler, and a toddler when I first started. And I said, you guys are going to have to pick up the slack. We're going to be gone more. There's going to be more frozen pizza dinners. This is long before Isogenics, guys, so don't judge me. And we're going to need your help with the house. And when people would come over to my house for presentations, this is not a joke. One of the things that I let go of was cleaning my house. I just let go of it. I'm like, the only thing I ever cleaned was from the front door to the room that the presentation would be in and the one bathroom I allowed people to go in. And I know people actually thought I was like kidding. I legitimately was not. I'm not even a great housekeeper to begin with. Like I definitely need support in that area, and I'm very happy to add to the economy by hiring somebody to help me. But then it was like there was something had to go. We weren't going to the gym, so we couldn't let that go. We had to make room somewhere. I made room in my schedule at the salon. We made room with the kids and a lot. So you have to decide, what can you put to the side temporarily to make room for building this business? What do you need to sacrifice? And only you know what that is. And some people say, oh, I don't want my kids to sacrifice. You know what? I think that you are doing a disservice to your family when you say you don't want your kids to sacrifice. I have 3 kids now. My oldest daughter just turned 29 in April. My son is 26, and I have a 16-year-old. And my kids had to sacrifice while we built. They had to. It was a family thing. But you know what? My kids have the most amazing work ethic. They are hard workers. They don't shy away from things that look scary and big because they watched. So no matter what the age of your kids, involving your family in your build, I think is crucial. Putting something aside, right? And there is always the discussion of balance. How do you don't balance it. Let's just be straight. There's no balance. Some weeks are like bat bleep crazy, and you feel like your hair is on fire. And some weeks aren't as busy. It's just the way that this ebb and flow of the profession is. When you're starting a new hot group and they're in activity, your life is nutty. And then they get on their way, and maybe you have a little lull again, and then you fill the pipeline, you start a new group, and everything's crazy again. There is no such thing, in my opinion, as balance. Balance comes from here when you know why you're doing what you're doing. Balance comes from a very clear why, in my opinion. I don't think that balance is a real thing in real life today, right? Like, I just don't think it exists. Stop trying to find this magical unicorn thing called balance. Things are going to be crazy sometimes, and things are going to not be crazy sometimes. And everything in between is just the daily life, right? And so that I think we do such a disservice to people when we say, how do you balance being a mom and building a business? You just, like, you're holding plates, and sometimes they fall. I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes your house looks like absolute crap. Your kids are filthy. They haven't bathed all week. Sometimes you don't bathe all week, but you get it done. Because on the other side of it, you hire a housekeeper. You hire an assistant. You can look at your schedule at the beginning of the week and say, you know what? On Tuesday, I'm turning it all off, and I'm going to spend the day with my family. That's on the other side. And even on the other side, you still have that. You still have crazy busy and then not crazy busy, right? So balance comes from, just for me, from knowing exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that gives me balance and peace in my heart. And then the crazy activity I can deal with. So that's another part of it. And I have found over the last 15 years, if somebody does not have a sense of urgency, it will not happen. It's pretty black and white. If they're just kind of like, maybe I'll have a presentation next week, maybe the week after, that's how their check will be. Maybe they'll pay them this week, maybe they won't.
What do you do with those, Michelle? What do you do when you have people like that? And let's say you're on fire, you're like, come on, let's do something. Let's lock arms, let's go. And they're just like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to hit it this week.
Yeah, I like to describe it like a tennis match. This is how I treat the business. I match energy for energy. And a lot of times people will say something. People ask all the time, how do you know who to work with? How do you know who to work with? It's easy to know who to work with. I hit the ball. We have a call on Monday nights. It's at this time. We send reminders. We do Facebook posts to remind people to get on the call. The calls where we do all the updates. I can see who's engaged because they're excited. I've been doing calls once a week my entire career in network marketing, literally for 15 years. I look forward to it. I'm excited for calls. I don't go, oh God, another call. I'm like, I'm excited to see the faces. Let's talk about it. Who do we got this week? What's going on? So if somebody doesn't show on a call, I take a mental note. Okay. That is a lack of desire or commitment to me. If I say, hey, I'm doing a presentation this week, bring a guest to my house. If you're just getting started, let's book your first 2 presentations. If there's no activity, that's basically strike 2 and 3. I will meet them where they're at. I will continue to, because once somebody's enrolled, doesn't mean they're actually enrolled, right? They may have signed up, they're using product, but they're not really enrolled yet. Then you know what I do? I go back to kind of the prospecting process. Hey, there's a call on Monday night. Hey, there's an event at my house on Thursday. Hey, there's this going on. And I treat them in my mind like a customer/prospect. But because what they say doesn't match their activity, I can't fill in the gap. Only they can. So I hit the tennis ball. They don't hit it back. I'll hit the tennis ball again. And now I'm waiting for them to hit it back.
Yeah, I love that, because it's going to save us a lot of time and a lot of energy. Sometimes we want it so much more for somebody else, but if they don't want it, there's not much you can do about it. You know, it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And I just think that, you know, in terms of handling objections, like Michelle said, there's so much urgency in this. You know, if somebody's like, oh, the money's too much, I need to chew my food, and I've got to talk to my doctor as they're drinking their Diet Pepsi, eating their bacon, egg, and cheese. You know, objections are a normal part of it, right? Like I heard a great CD by Jim Rohn. Talk to 10 people, you stink, you'll sign up 1. Talk to 10 people, you get a little better, you sign up 2. Objections are normal. Embrace them. So give me one last tip, because we have about 3 minutes before we have to jump off. Talk to me about the importance of following up, because this is really critical. And it's not just the follow-up with getting them enrolled, but like you mentioned, it's the follow-up in really getting them enrolled and understanding the full picture. Sometimes we get them in for a 30-day, and they really don't get what the possibility, you know, of all this. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, if you're not following up, you're not actually doing the business. I mean, my enroller followed up with us for 6 years. The guy that Bobby has at corporate this week, he followed up with him for the last 6 years. It's timing. Like, you're going to get objections, and like Angela just mentioned a couple of them. I like to chew my food. All these, they're excuses. So there's a couple things. Number one, timing for them that has absolutely nothing to do with you. Timing in their life isn't right. There's nothing you can say or do, right or wrong, when the timing isn't right. So know that's a factor. And then the other part of the objection is they're saying no because they don't have enough information. They don't have the confidence in themselves, or they don't have confidence in you. You haven't built that relationship with them where they trust you. Remember, people will sign up when they know you, like you, and trust you. When all 3 of those happen simultaneously, people feel comfortable to say yes. But maybe they know you and like you, but they don't trust you because, like, you've been a flake, you've jumped in and out of 30 jobs, 30 companies, you stick with something for 3 months. They know that about you. And if that's the truth, then that's okay. But realize that that's something personal development you can work on, and now you can actually change your level of influence over them by showing them something new about you. So, I mean, Bob, we always say this: you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. So there are a number of factors. And here's the last thing I'll say about objections and trying to enroll people. I don't know how to convince this person. You need to remove the word convincing from your vocabulary. People are not moved by your convincing. They're moved by your conviction. When your belief and your conviction is rock solid, like 10 foot tall, bulletproof, they can't say no to you. They don't even know why, but they just see you have that sparkle in your eye and you're going to do something, and they want to be a part of it because people desperately want to be a part of something special.
I love it. So just to sum up, I literally have a stopwatch going. So we're not late to this team call. So I've got about 30 seconds. But basically, light a fire under your butt. Have that urgency. keep having the conversations, embrace the stuff. And if they're saying no, it has nothing to do with you. Just keep working on getting better. Don't take it personally. I mean, a single mom who was a beautician, a hairdresser, now an Isogenics millionaire. She's also an author. These are her amazing books. Please follow her on Facebook. Don't friend her. Don't send her a million friend requests, but hit follow. She has a beautiful podcast, and she's just full of life and inspiration, and you can absolutely learn something from the incredible Michelle Schaffer. I love you to pieces, and I'm so grateful for you. Now,
thank you, guys. Go kill it.
Jump on the team call. Love you, Michelle. Thank you.
Love you, Angela. See you all soon.
Thanks, guys.